back, folks. Game number 3 on the docket. The first one went to Release, the second one went to Juice. Both of them pretty much in dominating fashion.
Dominating. The second one was closer than the first one. First one definitely went all the way to Release. Juice definitely played a lot better game 2. The composition worked out a lot smoother for them. Still some niggles here and there for both of them, mainly for Juice, because like when they made these rotations, the ganks early didn't work as cleanly as they wanted them to. Hopefully they can clean that up some more this game.
Seemed a little more warmed up, honestly, if you ask me.
That's a good point.
Just seemed a little bit more comfortable in game number 2 with Juice.
Big key, and the surprise is, I believe Shing landed very, very early on, just before this tournament began as well. So he's not had any chance really to warm up and get himself going. So he's pretty much coming cold, and he started off to a flying start so far for Release.
Yeah, we'll take a look as Crey taken off the board by Juice. They don't want to allow Cloud to play that one, and Hell banned out by Release.
So from what I understand, the losing team gets to choose which side they'd rather be. The start of the game, the very first game, we saw it was Juice on second pick.
Right.
Then when Juice lost, they chose second pick, and now that Release Gaming's just lost, they've chose second pick. So it looks like we see a lot of the transition of both teams want to try and be Chaos side of the map for the 2 picks during picks and bans.
We'll take a look at how that impacts the game itself. Both Cloud picked, so we mentioned how a lot of at MLG, Cloud played a lot of Poseidon and a little bit of Crey. Those are really what Cloud's known for. So with the impact that Cloud has really been able to make for the Release squad going into game number 1 and game number 2, game number 3, he'll have to play something different.
Well, we see Juice go here, because Giannis on the table as well, but will they look to take that one away from Cloud as well, try and deny more of the mid-god pool early on to limit his options? Or will they look for potentially Athena, which we've seen some very good games on Athena so far today between these 2 teams? Not sure where they're going to go.
We'll take a look. First pick being discussed right now by the guys on Juice, and Geb will be picked overall number 1.
Gili had a great game last game on that Geb, honestly. He had some big cataclysms.
Cataclysms.
Realized to hold it at certain opportunities too and not panic when he was potentially going to get Krakened. He sat around with it, and I think that was Gili's go-to god for that game. I'm not surprised they're going to run that one back.
Second pick here. We'll see if it pays off for Release. Contemplative looks as Hades is selected alongside the Xbalanque. So Transonics with such a powerful performance in game number 2 on that Chibi. Release doesn't want any part of it, so they're going to take it away.
Assisting foot on this Hades, it just seems a very comfort pick more than anything else. It doesn't shine to its extremes that I've seen. I've seen him win lane early and not do anything with it. I've seen him lose lane early and the teams have to rally him to make him useful. I think it's just such a comfort pick in this lane, so we could see Dust pretty much run anything against this and feel quite comfortable, as long as he doesn't lose its tower too early.
Awilix and Isis picked up by Juice. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Awilix certainly wasn't broke that time around. Isis selected as well, so 2 of the same picks coming up for Juice. Sobek going to be selected by the guys on Release. We'll head into our next round of bans right now.
Sobek, I've seen by a lot of people at the moment to be one of the strongest Guardians. Can be running the solo lane, but at the moment the Guardian role has a lot of sustain because of his I've forgotten the name of it. I don't know why.
Lurking in the Water?
No, Sickening Strike. Lurking in the Water is my back. Sickening Strike, but also he's got lots of CC, multiples in every single skill. So very, very useful, can pull people into awkward positions.
Thor and Freya banned out again. These are consistently banned out. Just powerful picks pretty much across the board. Freya able to do so much in that Hunter role, or I guess in multiple roles, but Hunter is really where she sees a lot of presence.
And the one thing that when you see an Awilix on the team and you Release gaming, and you're the mid laner, you're Cloud, and you're like, what the hell am I going to pick? What am I going to pick? Because if I take Scylla, I can get pulled by the Gravity Surge. If not, my mobility is going to be a little bit more limited. Cabrakan?
Well, we won't find out what's going mid just yet, as Cabrakan is picked up by Release. Most likely going to find his way into the jungle.
Cabrakan has a very, very good matchup against an Isis from the jungle. That's the big key here. The burst damage that you can put onto an Isis, chickens get destroyed very, very quickly by those giant shields of Cabrakan. The blink initiation, seismic crush, then the wall to pin her in if need be, plus the tremors, can really influence and hurt an Isis quite painfully.
Take a look as Juice look to round out their picks.
They're
really looking a little bit confused right now.
He's not sure where they're going to go with this. Like, well, I wouldn't mind seeing the new War run back from Dust. Honestly, it wasn't that bad of a situation for them. Yeah. But the problem is that the front line, once again, is a little bit slack, which it was last game as well, if you think about it. They ran the Isis and new War then as well.
There it is. We will see the new War one more time.
And the Xbalanque.
And the Ram.
Like, obviously not, can't be Xbalanque because Lee's Gaming took that one away. So Rama this time for Transonics. pretty much identical team comps apart from the Hunter for Juice Gaming.
Yeah.
Release Gaming, though, have switched things up a lot more this time with the Sobek and Cabrakan. That's 3 Guardians on one side already. It's Protect Xbalanque comp so far. I want to see a massive burst damage dealer in the mid lane. Still is an option, but Gravity Surge is a threat.
So we're going to have an interesting mid laner. Most likely going to be the Hades in the mid lane. Of course, I say most likely.
I think you're on the money there.
Things could, of course, be thrown for a loop, but we'll most likely see the Hades played by Clow in the mid lane, which leaves Bellona into that solo role. Cabrakan in the jungle, which is Cabrakan. People call him Fat Loki. His burst potential is so high.
Very, very high, and he's got a good frontline ability as well of soaking damage if he needs to. Not only that, if you have to CC him to stop the tremors, it stops the CC going on other team members, which are the ones that you're going to be looking to deal damage with. My problem with this, though, is that Release Gaming, they're all going to be looking to Xbalanque late game for the real carry potential here. So it's all going to come to Crey, the Outlaw, and his positioning, which I brought up in game 2, was a little bit suspect. I hope that he's got that positioning sorted for this game, because with their lineup that they've got here, they've got an awful lot of control, but are not massive amounts of burst after Fat Loki goes in and does his wombo.
Yeah, we'll see how these teams react as we look at Juice right now. Here's Release getting ready for the games to begin. Clow right there in the middle, surrounded by the rest of his team. Admin's looking on as players get ready to jump on in. This is game number 3. We're all tied up here 1-1 here at our Xbox UMG LAN. And of course, this will send players into day 2. Juice Gaming taking on Release right now. Whoever wins here will face Eager in the finals, which of course will happen tomorrow afternoon.
Well, this is a best of 5 after all. We're only at 1-1. We could go all the way here. We'll find out how this one plays out. At the moment, we're tuning in with Lispy, also known as Shing, if you've seen him on PC before and in the SPL Pro League. Going with the power pot start here, so looking for a lot of early burst damage, which you generally see on a lot of junglers these days.
It's going to be powerful, powerful, powerful damage coming out from Lispy right here. I'm going to head back to base, curiously.
It's one of those things where at the beginning of the game, you normally see one team look to be a little bit more aggressive than the other. And at the beginning of this one, it looked like Release were the ones that were looking for an opportunity potentially for an early invade or pick. And at the same time, Juice, if you notice how defensive they were to begin with, well, not right now, as we see Dust very, very deep on that right-hand side placing a ward there.
Right. So essentially the thought process behind what Shing was doing is he walk up into the jungle with his team in case they catch somebody out, placing a ward or being aggressive.
It's normally like, you don't really think about, are we invading? I don't know, should we invade? I don't know, Crey, we can invade if you want it. No, I'm not going to invade, I'm just going to go back to base. That's the call.
Exactly. So Shing backs, and he'll hang out in base for a while. And that allows him to pop his potion and buy another type of potion, a sustain potion, whether it's health or mana. That allows him to fill out his consumable slots efficiently by being back in base.
Because Juice don't know exactly what Cabrakan started here, that early ward from Dust will give an idea of whether we're going to see Shing come to the lane and try and gank with a blink potentially, and go for the full burst combo in an early level new war. And actually this start that you can see coming out from Juice Gaming here, this is the safe option because they're scared of potentially being invaded on.
And with that protection, that'll leave Purified without a red buff just yet. Red buff still on the map for Juice Gaming.
Still shares experience and still going to get there for the soak as well. And that round with TeeVee there, a little bit of danger for Clow, but respect the minions is what Juice do there, and it's very wise.
Exactly, those minions providing so much damage. And quickly,
these rotations.
Lispy will make his way into the mid lane as he sees TeeVee's there already. And speaking of rotations, there you go, Hinduman.
Yeah, that's
dual lane rotation for the first mid-harpies of the game.
There was a contest on the right-hand ones as well from Isis here by Purified. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to steal them away. Looks like it did go to the way of Release, though. But what you saw is the epic push power from the dual lane. They got the push power in dual lane because they only did purple buff and went straight to the lane. They get there faster, they get the push power on, able to rotate mid-harpies. If they got the right harpies as well, this would have been an even bigger swing of experience for Juice Gaming and put them in a stronger position.
And it's interesting how many things get changed by one small change. By way of protecting themselves from the invade, Juice in turn changed the choreography of the whole beginning step. Right now, the mid laners will clear the wave, and now instead of heading to back harpies as per usual, this is the period of time where we get to see the red buff finally taken out for Purified.
I really like the call from Juice at the start of the game, though. It seems to have worked out nicely. If things would have gone a little bit smoother, they could have got a much more substantial lead. But I like the idea of like pushing out dual lane really quickly so you don't have to fight there and get level 2 quick.
Exactly.
Then rotate mid, take away the harpies and get some experience so you don't fall behind from not dropping red.
Just very clean.
But that puts mid and jungler ahead too, so they should be hitting 5 a little bit quicker, I feel. in this mid lane.
Very clean execution coming from Juice. A lot of times when we see teams call the audibles, it's haphazard, right? And you see like missed opportunities or missed farm.
This was more of a
this has been
strategy.
practice.
This is a practice strategy from Juice Gamer that's
Exactly.
coming to this and executed it well. We've seen this out of teams before when we talked about the Trig start or the Paradigm start
Right,
or the
back in the
AFK
beginning.
start. We've seen them many times from different teams before. This is just another transition that at the moment I've not seen this before. So
Exactly. It's a smart adaptation out of Juice to avoid that invade that was potentially there.
love what Freya's doing though, just walking up, being aggressive, putting the pressure on Gili. Not panicking though, just throws the shield down, walks away, doesn't use rollout, doesn't waste unnecessary mana, and it didn't come to any real damage. But good aggression from the support Freya.
Transonics able to clear the wave as well. So he'll be level 4 even, pretty much, with his opponent. 2,300 gold across the board for the Hunters. As Release find themselves back in the mid lane. So the pace of this game, Hindu Man, looking at the picks and judging for the past 2 games, where are we going to be at? Are we going to be as aggressive as game number 2?
We are going to be aggressive. You can already see where TeeVee is right now. He's heading to this duo lane, and you can already see the respect coming out from Release. The call's been made that TeeVee's on the warpath. Why is he heading here? Well, he's going to go for the same thing he did all last time round. This time, though, Sobek pick, not the Athena pick. Why the Sobek? Better escape mechanisms to get away. You can instantly charge Prey away, not have to charge up like Preemptive Strike, and his ultimate will also take him out of unnecessary bad situations too, and give him a bit more protection.
Gili blinks on in, gets a knock up, but
Now
no real follow-up. Dust provides the ult.
That was all coded by the boys of Juice Game to go that aggressive. Blink, Gili, knock up. No follow-up from TeeVee, though. Look what happened with Dust. He immediately fire shards thinking the fight was coming. Never happened.
Yeah, just a little too far away. TeeVee not able to find himself into that engagement. So no first blood on the board just yet. Still very meticulous. And Release has been very careful.
They have, and one thing this should do, though, is Lispy, Xing, Cabrakan in the jungle here. He now knows New War does not have her ultimate. This should be blaring, glaring signs for him to get over to the solo lane and potentially find a pick here. He's not got Blink online yet, though. He's not been back to base, so if he goes back and gets Blink here, that could be what he looks to do here. With the Bellona, they could find a pick onto Dust early because he's used that ultimate.
There's a thought, at the very least. Release here in the mid lane, able to push out the wave a little bunch. But it shouldn't be a problem. We'll take a look at the wing gust, just annihilate the wave.
Transonics got to be careful now because Gili's starting to make the rotations towards mid lane now to give him the free farm in the 1v1 matchup. But at the moment, you can see Freya on that Sobek still hanging around here for the time being. So it's got to be respectful not to get too caught out of position because one quick charge Prey and it could have swung nastily.
Pretty meticulous game here. Nobody wants to put themselves into harm's way too much. TeeVee was very aggressive in game number 2, but here he's a little bit more careful.
I don't know if he's less aggressive this game because he realized he got picked last game at the start when he went for that gank. But he did find first blood off it, which set the team up nicely to an extent. What they can't do is rest around too long, though, because the likes of Bellona, the longer this game goes on with 3 Guardians and a tank like Bellona and a Warrior, it's going to be very hard to bring all these targets down. Soul Reavers are going to be the order of the day for these mages if they're not careful.
And right now, grouping in the mid lanes, Gili finds himself there. Dust just going to push this into the tower, pretty much.
Gets a full wave in, head back. I was just wondering when he's going to buy off that back as well. Just get Choose the Magi completed, beads as well. So he's pretty much safe now. We didn't actually see any aggression come out of Xing there on that Cabrakan. He did go back and get the blink, though, that I was talking about, but he's going to be a little bit too late to really find the pick before the ultimate came off, which is what he would have really liked if he could have realized it or had the opportunity to.
Some of the first vision on the board being put down by Purified. A sentry ward
Aggression in mid,
being
though.
put down, but is taken out immediately
aggression
by
in
the
mid.
Sobek. Middle lane, Lispy crushes Purified out of nowhere. A quick rotation brings a quick kill.
Okay.
First blood going the way of Release.
Not thought about that, but the ultimate from Clow and the tremors from a Cabrakan.
You're not moving.
Which one pulls harder? You're getting pulled towards the Hades, but at the same time you're shaking your way all the way there. Pretty painful. And there's also one other thing to note that you don't realize as well. Xbalanque. Xbalanque's Darkest of Nights combined with Tremors means that you're always moving. Which means that you're going to get stunned by it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the classic combination is Darkest of Nights and Intoxicate from Bacchus. You can't stop moving, so you automatically
You can do that
get
with Tremors
stunned.
too. You can do it with Hades ult.
Exactly.
Two things.
Same thing working there. Forcing the movement by way of your other abilities to force a stun. So
Sobek, a little bit harder to pick than they would like. Good use of abilities, though, from TeeVee. Just a feather step there and then back out again. They got the ultimate for free. The Harpies are just about to spawn on the right and left, and now with that all being down on the Sobek, they could potentially look to fight, but instead, looks like we're going to see a split.
Again, just opting to play it safe. Juice, they don't want to jump into things too quickly.
I'm always interested in boots these days to see what goes on. Ninja Tabby and Warrior Tabby on Hunters, for example, not really that important. It's a very marginal difference between the two. Depends on what sort of item path you go for. You go for more attack speed. But things like Shoes of the Medjai versus Shoes of Focus for mana and cooldown versus penetration is always interesting.
That's really where, on the mage boot option, those really sort of tip your hand again. So we take a look at Geb, going to go the cooldown boost, so pretty...
It's mainly the supports as well as another factor, because we used to see a lot of travel issues coming out from them. Extra gold generation from actually landing abilities on gods, as well as the extra mobility. But now, this extra mana that's being given to these Shoes of the Focus
that's the key.
Is making a big importance, because it means they're not having to buy as many mana potions, and they're not going, guys, amount of mana I've got a base. As a support, it's the worst feeling in the world when your team wants to fight and you've got no mana to support.
Yeah, supports generally are the facilitators, especially, I mean, we saw game number 1 for Juice. A lot of what TeeVee was able to do was off of the back of important plays from Gili, whether it be large 5-man cataclysms or small single-person knockups. A lot of it was just provided by way of Giliara. So Juice Gaming have to be aware, and a smart decision coming out from the support.
And one thing to note as well this game is that we've seen the Hades for the 3rd time from release gaming, but this time they did run it in the mid lane by Clow. The last 2 times we have seen it on assisting foot in that solo lane. So a bit of a mishmash situation there where they've got multiple people who can play Hades competitively. It's very useful. TeeVee looking for something. Not going to find anything though. As you can see, the release had an idea. Something might be going on around near Crey.
More wards dropped by release this time around by the Gold Fury. As we get closer and closer to 10 minutes, teams sort of get a little bit more excited about that objective. Gold Fury, of course, spawning from minute 0, and we have seen earlier ones, but 10 minutes is really where teams sort of are able to do so.
And it's funny because for the most part, from what I can tell, is generally the combination of Xing and Clow in this mid lane jungle combo for release gaming, the ones that force all these engagements and force the fights and make the big plays for them. Meanwhile, on the other way, it's TeeVee and Gili in the support role that combine to make the plays, and here we go.
Out of nowhere comes Lispy again. There is that burst damage we were talking about. Able to get out his TeeVee, but turning it around. Juice has some burst of their own. TeeVee with the long-range bowling ball, and Gili picks up Clow as he tries to find a way out. Assisting foot gets stunned. Assisting foot gets killed. Dust on top of that one. It's 3-1.
That was Clow making a play with the support of Xing when it didn't work out for them, and instead TeeVee, Gili, and Purified and to be fair, Dust's ultimate was very, very good there to buy him a second away from the danger, and his burst damage was insane there.
That was a fantastic turnaround by Juice. The blink in from Lispy caught everybody off guard, but Juice was smart enough and quickly reacted to turn that around.
And game 1, we saw game 1, they were very slow on the reactions. That time round, though, they were very, very aware of it, and now they've punished release gaming quite considerably there in that engagement. Going to get some free farm off, deny some minions in the right-hand side as well, which will put assisting foot a little bit behind, who once again was having a good laning phase early on against Dust, but it's Noir and things have turned there. But look at the tower. Tower's taken a lot of punishment there for release gaming.
I mean, the tower over there, it's about just above half, I guess. But a teleport being purchased on Bellona will make sure that she's able to not only defend the tower, but also be able to rotate quickly. Dust, unlikely to purchase the teleport, but we'll see.
The worst thing that happens sometimes in these games is we'll see teams sit back now, but Lispy may be looking for a play onto Dust here. Big play. Blink is available for Lispy. Has he got it? No, he does not right now. He was having to just walk around the corner and try and make it happen. Not available, and they don't find the kill they wanted to, but they can put some tower pressure on because there's no support coming just yet. You can see them in mid lane. Cloud giving away the TeeVee's there. Now they know TeeVee's on the way. They probably should back away.
TeeVee coming. Tower being aggressed on. Cloud might have been turned around when TeeVee decided to make his rotation. So here he comes. No knockup.
The minion wave.
The tower's going to fall anyway, even though TeeVee shows up, not willing to jump right into that damage.
Meanwhile in mid lane, Cloud is up against Gili at the moment there, but the shockwave missing means that Purified can't really follow up. So a free tier 1 tower for release gaming over on the right hand side. That's just abusing the fact that Dust didn't have his ultimate up there to really survive. Had beads as well, but didn't really want to force the issue. Respected the amount of damage they could put out, so backed away safely.
Purified coming on the left side, just a ward. little bit of D-vision action going on as Gili, there's the third hit. He'll take the enemy ward for himself.
And the one thing that I was going to say that can happen, and it might happen now, is that because Release Gaming have been the aggressors, and Juice Gaming have reacted very, very well and found the kills. So what you might see from Release is they'll stop being aggressive now all of a sudden. And Juice won't go aggressive because they're waiting for them to go aggressive. So we sit back and farm up for a while again until one team feels like they've got an actual edge, which will probably be Release Gaming again, more than likely, because Juice are in a decent situation to just like respond to these fights.
I mean, at the moment, it's all tied, despite there being a 2-kill lead by way of Juice. The gold, very, very similar. And if you just do an eye check down to the levels, very similar there as well.
Bit of poke onto Gili there, but he's not going to panic too much. Meanwhile, Sobek's charge Crey is down, so he does force the look in the waters out. And meanwhile, Cloud going in too.
There's an ultimate out of Fury as well. That'll help Gili survive. Freya forced out just a little bit. Crey the Outlaw gets a kill onto Gili, though. Up in the air is Ram. Looking for the snipes on the backside. Transonics takes out Freya underneath his own tower while the fight from Release is stopped.
Did make it a 1-for-1. Support falls down on both sides. Nothing more to really write home about that. Once again, it was Release that went aggressive. Juice Gaming responded nicely, though. Transonics rotation there made a big impact.
Smart rotation, smarter decision or target selection, I would say. It's very easy to look at that situation and go ahead and try to help the team fight. But the communication from Juice was, Freya's getting away, stop him. Ram goes up in the air, and Transonics able to take him out. But here, Lispy able to take out TeeVee.
That feather step was good from TeeVee, but hang on, we got a man fight over in this left-hand lane there. Minions are involved too. But it looks like Crey the Outlaw lost that one a little bit, and Transonics realizing he could have carried on there, but I think he was worried about a rotation more than anything.
Yeah, didn't want to be a little too hungry.
Oh, he's realized now. He's like, damn.
He'll stay in lane.
Instead, what you saw there in a little transition of back baits is like, whichever one backs first generally is going to lose a wave or a little bit of experience in the wave. And Transonics has decided to stick around. He was healthy enough to hold on. And if he can just try and last hit here, he could try and do like 1 or 2 creeps in golden experience. Doesn't add up to much, but when it's over a course of period of time where there's multiples that die, it'll help. Sadly, he just completely ignored what I was talking about and pushed a wave, and Crey gets small.
Yeah, Outlaw gets all 6 minions.
Cast a curse.
No big deal for Crey. He'll be able to pick up that wave, and we'll see what he opts to do with the enemy wave here. And it's going to meet in the middle. Puri and Gili combining mid laner and support mirrored on the other side as well. Release have their mid laner and support here.
But look what Sobek's doing every single time. Just stayed in front of the minions. Like, if you come any closer, I may charge Crey at any moment. Not actually going to do it. It's just like the threat of it consistently is why Sobek is so valuable to a lot of teams right now. Yeah,
it's just a threat. But now there's 3 members for Juice here. Releases jungler securing the blue buff for the solo lane.
Oh, is it Gold Fury just get pulled there by Crey? No, it doesn't look like it. I thought he was just going to pull it, but instead he just dropped a sentry ward here. It's pretty much stable between the two for the time being here. You can see that Cabrakan just rotates to the right-hand side there to soak experience as... Did he just teleport over that? Was it a teleport by Hades?
On the Hades?
No. Okay. No. My bad. Oh, sorry, it's my bad. I couldn't find where the Bellona had gone. He was hiding behind the Cabrakan. I was like, oh, was there a teleport used?
Yeah, no, the Hades has
we are seeing a group in mid, though, here. We are seeing a group in TeeVee might be caught.
Beautiful stun out of Puri. And a silence going to prevent Lispy from any quick thinking.
Right inside there, you saw some aggression as well. Our assisting foot there. That's not a foot. That's a massive bludgeoning hammer.
Bellona coming out of the solo lane. Gold Fury has been started by the guys on release. Bellona's here largely to...
zone.
Exactly.
Create a zone, and now there's Cabrakan too. But meanwhile, Gili's going to get in there with Transonics. Cloud's going to go straight onto Transonics, put some pressure onto him. Shield comes out from Gili. Meanwhile, though, he gets pulled back in with a charge break. Cataclysm from Gili is good. On the right-hand side, though, Lispy's trying to do what he can.
Jump over as Eagles rally, and the bludgeon hits nobody since Dust takes to the air. Puri, TeeVee, and Dust on the right side. Rest of Juice on the left. Transonics in some trouble as Crey comes down, but a strong shield out of Gili will save his Hunter. Gili pretty low.
But his team had to come into support, and now they're in a bad position now, so Freya's going to fall down. Cloud comes in to try and turn this around. Aegis from Dust up by a second, and a second is all he needs to get out. Meanwhile, TeeVee uses Suku to leap out as well. And Purified doing good zoning work. Spirit Ball should be up in a second.
Not going to find the kill onto Cloud just yet.
But the Gold Fury stays up. That's the big key there for Juice Gaming. They actually get some picks out of that, and they stop the Gold Fury going down.
No No pull on the Gold Fury. That's pretty much the biggest takeaway for me, Hindu, is the fact that the teams were deterred from the objective.
Exactly.
Without that, that would have been a large swing. Clow gets poked out. This could be trouble, and it is. Purified with the wing gust off of the stun sends the mid laner home.
Well, that's pretty much it. And now with that, Juice going to go straight for that Gold Fury play potentially here. The wall coverage is good for them, but you can see Assisting Foot already over here, aware of this with the teleport early on to try and help out. TeeVee already on zoning duty. You can see where he is swinging around the side to keep this Bellona busy. Going to put the pressure onto him, try and force him back, but he does reset the Gold Fury for now.
That was an accident. Juice seemed to want to take it. Gold Fury down to 30. Isis ultimate is down, and that'll pop the Gold Fury. Juice don't look like they want to fight. They've got the objective, and they're walking away. That'll give Juice a slight lead.
Everybody out. What did they get out of that? They got Gold Fury, they got Teleport for free off Assisting Foot as well. And already you should see New Wild probably reach back to lane at the same time. Transonics fighting with Crey again. But Crey, once again, finds out Gili's close in support.
Transonics always willing to fight. This time around, he had Gili in the corner. Able to be a little safer there. Release 3 people in the mid lane. TeeVee going to help him. TeeVee going to pick up the back camps along with Giliara. So just a little bit more farm onto that Awilix.
It's all good for Juice Gaming right now. With how the game's gone, it's only a 1,000 gold differential between the two teams, but Juice it's working out well for them. Every time Release have gone aggressive, Juice have found the answers to it time and time again this game. Last game, a different story. We saw Juice be more aggressive, but they're showing that they can play two different sides of the coin. I mean, the first game of this, it felt like nervousness, and the pick in the jungle just didn't work out for them.
So why aren't we seeing as much aggression out of Juice this time around?
The reason we're not seeing
What's the stop sign?
I think the big stop sign is, where is the aggression going to come from? They know the play is Gili is going to use immediately the shockwave, and they're going to find a pull. Right. You got a duo lane, you try that on a Xbalanque. He's going to rise and jag your away straight afterwards. You use that against a Sobek, he's going to lurk in the waters or charge prey away, or a combination of both. It's not as easy to find those kills, and when you do it the first game and you actually trade off in that one, and you go against a comp like this one, it's an even riskier situation. So why not sit back and use your mobility and rotation?
Transonics on the backside of this one. Crey gets a couple more basics in. Dust able to help out.
Though. Response from Clow and the boys of Release and Juice Gaming too. And now Clow's going to watch himself as well. TeeVee chose not to use the ultimate there to pull in the Gravity Surge of Clow. Instead, Gili has to beat.
Smart beats out of the gap. Long range stun will stop Freya in his tracks.
But healed back up. It should be from Clow there as well, so everyone's fine. Good rotation from Dust from the solo lane there to support mid lane. As you can see, the rest of Release are now slowly coming over. Actually, they're going to do the left on Harpy, so still Release actually soaking better experience off this little tussle over in the duo.
No stacking items on the Xbalanque this time around. Just straight attack speed.
Yeah, he's got some attack speed this time. I mean, we've seen a couple of different builds out of Crey, honestly. I've seen him go with the attack speed boots into an execution and the Soul Eater, and I was like, okay, so he's gone attack speed boots because he's not going more attack speed. But this time, he's got even more attack speed with getting the Ick file this time as well, which he didn't have last time.
Everything on his build right now has attack speed.
Bluestone doesn't, don't lie.
All right, that's fair.
I'm just saying.
Nope, that's fair.
I'm just saying.
That's fair.
And beads don't.
All right, now that's silly. I'm going to call you on that one right here. Near the mid Harpies, looked like it could have been a fight, but really just a fight over the Harpies, and as soon as those fall, that's all the teams wanted.
It's just pretty much a farm up. It's 20 minutes in, and I'm surprised how slow this one's gone. Compared to some of the games we've seen today, this set between these two seems a lot more... Both teams seem a lot more scared. The other two were scared too, but they were scared in the fact of, like, let's just fight till we die and lose. That's what it kind of felt like. Yeah,
this time around, a little bit more calculated out of the teams as we approach our 21st minute of game number 3.
Well, you do have a lot of experienced PC players here. You've got, you know, the likes of Clow and Shing have been around the scene for a long time, Juice Gaming. A lot of members of their team have been around streaming for a very long time too, so they've all experienced it and should understand themselves exactly what goes into it. Oh, Dust is in trouble. Dust is in big trouble. No, he's not.
He's not stunned out.
That was a classic Shing play. Lispy following in his footsteps, clearly.
Fortunately for Release, what could have been a great pick as Dust was miles away from his tower. A couple of missed abilities. It's going to wind up being a missed opportunity.
I mean, remember, this is Xbox too, so turning circles are a little bit more difficult there. So playing melee gods that you've got to land that in hand, Dust did some very good jukes there to just get away with a little quick sidestep.
Yep, strong positioning. Coming out of the guys on the side of Juice. Mid lane being pushed a little bit, but Purified shows up.
Yeah, it's all fine for now. We've got a little while for the Gold Fury. We're talking about 40 seconds until we see some more fighting. But Juice Gaming at the Gold Fury fights, once again, they're the ones that control the burst that you can put out with clay minions and fire and shining metal, as well as the circle of protection, is enough to really put a lot of pressure on the Gold Fury to try and stop you from taking it away.
Juice have been pretty dominant outside of this land to make it to this land. Juice really have been largely dominant. I mean, the first week that they saw of competition, they just plowed through everyone that they really dealt with.
I mean, there was talks of this because a few people have mentioned this about Juice Gaming. The last time they won a LAN was the MLG, and everyone had them as potential favourites there to win, but it didn't work out well for them. And then they came into this one and they've changed things up with TeeVee going into the jungle and Gili in the support role. After game 1 of today, I would have been like, don't think this is working that well, boys. Maybe it's just LAN is the issue for you, you know? Some teams struggle with LAN.
Yeah, but Juice really turned up in game number 2.
They did.
So, looking to see that, it seems like the roster swap was the right idea.
For the time being.
Gili, and sure, TeeVee has performed well in the jungle, but I really look at Giliar. The support has been lights out for Juice.
I mean, Giliar has played in a couple of different roles though before as well, so he's not home away from home. He's played solo lane previously in the SPL and the PC section, so we've seen that out of him too. So he's definitely, you know, adapted to this role quite easily for the time. You can see by his positioning here, always looking for something. These two Hunters on Xbox is so much fun.
Transonics, always known as the aggressor.
Look at him.
And Crey, not one to really shy away from the fight.
Cloud trying to make punishment onto Transonics again, but look where Gili is.
All right, we'll take a look. Cloud in a little bit of trouble. Juice trying to punish him. Let's take a listen.
Get out. Don't roll into that. They're coming full Cloud.
You want to do this or no?
Lose the full mid wave here.
They might do
losing tower. I'm looking at it.
Rotate to gold. Rotate to gold.
I can come from
yeah,
they're not.
I asked if you want to rotate
over here.
yes.
Cabrakan going on, man.
He's here.
Nice knock up, nice knock up. Hades blink, he dashed.
We got him.
Hades blink dash,
Blow him up.
Good shit.
Nice.
Nice.
Keep going.
Yeah, fight this.
Keep fighting.
We missed our CC. We're losing tower.
Got knock up.
Sobek should die. Yeah, he's dead.
No, he's.
That's his ult.
I'm tanking.
There's a minion in. They don't have protection on the tower.
Nice.
I might die. Just keep running. If you die, we can stand. We can go gold, yeah?
Hey, his dash is down. I slowed him.
Nice! Gold.
Yeah, we can. I don't have ult for 20 though.
We honestly could have gone fire, but actually no, we don't have any.
Fantastic fight and commitment out of the guys on Juice. Wind up giving them enough kills to open the window to go to gold.
Yeah, but we can see where assisting Foot is here. He is around. He could potentially try and do something here with the Eagles rally. Maybe. Nope, not in time. But there's a few things about this play that I was worried about. Is we probably going to see assisting Foot fall down now. Even with Lispy on the way, I don't think there's anything he could really do.
I don't know about that one.
They could probably both die. That's what's going to happen.
There's the Isis ult, and that'll put assisting Foot into the ground. Lispy now in some trouble. Clow one by one into the slaughter. Juice looking for the mid laner now. Fantastic beads will stop the stun out of Purified. That'll be enough.
Oh, they're going to keep going, and Transonics is going to get pushed into a bad spot. Should have the rollout just in time. Clow, one hit from Def. Noir to the rescue.
Pop.
That skill shot, OP.
Cloud takes a spill thanks to Dust. Fantastic timing and decision making to use the ult right there. That's going to be a huge swing for Juice Gaming. What was previously a tight, slow-paced, calculating game, all of a sudden has gotten blown up. 9 kills in the way of Juice, also leading by about 6,000 gold.
Now, the biggest issue, though, is what happened with that whole fight over there in the mid lane. And it looked like Juice was like, yeah, nice, cool, woo, we're winning. I'm like, you're not really winning anything right now, boys, because Bellona's just took a tier 2. You killed 3 people. You killed 2. You were chasing another 2, and the guy was still there.
But it's what you do after the fights that count.
And that's the key for me for assisting Foot. He could have potentially stayed in that solo lane and gone for Phoenix, which would have forced him back, or at least one person back.
Right.
Then he could have teleported to defend Gold Fury afterwards, or come back earlier. He stuck around there a long time, not sure what he was going to do. Ended up teleporting. I think he should have tried to pressure the Phoenix, and then maybe Juice Gaming didn't come out as big as they did. But after that, assisting Foot comes up to the Gold Fury, dies, Lispy dies, the rest of the team come in one by one. Don't work out well.
You know, I think if those two players show up at the same time, it would have been a much different story. The problem for Release right there is they just went one by one by one. And by spreading out their damage, unfortunately for Release, they weren't able to really combine for much of anything. And that's why Juice find themselves significantly in the lead right now.
Not completely over just yet, though, however, because the Fire Giant does still stand, as do all the Phoenixes. Only a bit of pressure on the left-hand side now with the Tier 2 being gone there, but right-hand side is identical. The goal difference, it was definitely down to the kills.
That's going to be a problem. Immediately taken out is Freya, as Purified winds up on the good side of that, combined with assists from the entire team.
Beautiful play by Juice there. The one thing to try and lock down a Sobek is not easy from being able to get out of it, CC and get into the look in the wars. They combined it so well that he had no chance of survival.
5 members for Juice here in the mid lane. Backdoor protections taken off of the tower by the minions. Clow here with Lispy. You know what? One more time, folks. Let's take a listen to Juice as they siege down the middle lane.
Behind. Be careful here.
Kill.
Can we fight? You're not. Yeah.
Oh, that silence!
Yo, mid Phoenix, we go mid Phoenix. Yeah, kill this.
Nice! Go mid Phoenix. Nice, dude.
Nice!
Do you have knockup, Gili?
Oh, yeah. Minions.
This ISIS player is so good.
I'm gonna knock up.
Yeah, go.
Knock up. Yo, be careful. You guys are taking Phoenix.
Somebody save me from the Cabrakan wall.
Okay, finish off Phoenix.
Finish Phoenix.
Can you guys get that and get out?
Yeah, get.
We can kill.
I'm low. I'm out.
Out now. Nice job now.
I'm out.
That's Hades beats. Can we do fire?
No, let's get right tier one.
Right tier 1 then out.
Alright, right tier one now.
They're gonna be up for that. You guys have to get that and like get the talk out like instantly. No, I don't think you can. Just back.
We just back.
It's not worth. Just back. It's not.
Nice! Juice, very high spirits for the guys on the blue team right here. Just tunneling down the mid lane. And, I mean, all you heard was exclamations and jokes from the guys on Juice.
No, all I heard was nice. That's all I heard.
I heard a lot of nice. I heard Purified say, hey, look at that ISIS player. Heads up, Purified is the ISIS player.
He is? I did not notice. I was too busy looking at Dusty's 4-0 and 10 scoreline with his best player damage.
It's so interesting how quickly these games can turn.
They can turn quite quickly, but I think Release kind of let this one go to them. The funny thing is, when you were listening to the plays in Game 1 by Juice Game, and we did their listening then, they were very demotivated. They were all like, oh, yeah, they got it again. Can we win this fight? I think we're losing this fight.
Exactly.
Game 2. More upbeat. Game 3, nice! You know, so you can see how morale in a team environment and on communications can really change based on how the game's going.
And it matters. I mean, that's a big part of how these teams really survive. And all of a sudden, Juice find themselves exactly at the respawn of the Gold Fury, ready to take it as soon as it spawns. Release in the mid lane. They're shooting over the right side.
Yeah, that's why we just saw Dusty. I was like, they could potentially rush the fight, and they got a sentry ward there. Instead, though, they're gonna just give it away with the Phoenix being down in mid lane.
Over 10,000 gold in the lead, Hindu.
And it's a big swing, because if you look at the can we go to the graphs just to see them here? Because the graphs should show that the swing happened very, very quickly. It wasn't a short swing at all.
Yeah, there it is.
Bloop, very quick of a short period of time.
Yeah, it's a step and then a plateau. And right there, that plateau is the team getting ready to push mid lane.
Exactly. That's all it was.
They pushed it.
So it's been a really good push from Juice Gaming. They've put themselves in a prime position to win Game 2 here. I'm sorry, their second game here. It's best of 5, remember, so you've got to win 3 to go all the way through. It will put Juice Gaming on match point if they can do it, but Release are not out just yet.
Exactly.
But they're struggling.
Yeah, I mean, they're down by over 10,000 gold, and 10,000 is really the start of the end.
I'm expecting a Awilix ban next game if this one wins for Juice Gaming. Then they've got to take away TeeVee's Awilix. It's worked out well for him 2 games in a row. They can't let this Gep combo go through him again. He's not done absolutely amazing like he did Game 1 on it, but he's still 3-1 in 10. So
yeah, and that's really the interesting part for me, Hindu, is that in game number 2...
They're looking for picks.
Freya by himself. No pull. There's damage
Spray
coming
bomb
out from Lispy. This is an aggression on the side of Release. Everybody's jumping in on top of the blue team. Juice in a little bit of trouble. There's the pull out of TeeVee. They can't take down the target. The Titan getting aggressed on by Winions, but Freya, he's the first to fall. Here's the ultimate out of Clow. Everybody looking at the mid laner. Transonics takes him down, but not until after Lispy gets a kill of his own. Dust with a huge stun takes one out, and now the rest of Release. There's only 2 left, but Crey is able to make it count.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. This could turn around now because we may actually see Bellona be able to 2v1 this unless Dust can make this work. Gili is getting whacked on, but doing a good job body blocking now for Dust to get the damage out. And it looks like Bellona's panicking a little bit here and has to run away. Maybe for cooldowns more than anything else. The bludgeon's available again, but he may get knocked up.
Taunts coming out from assisting Foot as well. He realizes that he's able to 2v1 and come out clean. That's a confident play right there.
Wasn't the cleanest fight for either team there. I say Release Gaming.
No, everybody died. Of course it wasn't.
No, the clear thing is that they can't do Fire Giant and Juice Gaming.
Right.
The Phoenix in mid lane does spawn, but it's going to fall down immediately. I don't think Sobek can stop that. If he can, that's lucky.
There you go. Saved the Phoenix.
Ooh, that's close.
Release able to save the Phoenix.
That just means now that Release Gaming have a foothold back in the game again. That from that one fight. We talk about who won that fight, then it was Release Gaming. They kept the Fire Giant alive, their Phoenix respawns, they have still an opportunity. They've got to push out this mid wave though, first of all. I'd like to potentially see a swing round looking for the middle Phoenix.
We'll take a look.
From Juice.
We'll take a look. That middle Phoenix, of course, will be half or twice as easy to kill as it was last time. Spawns with about half of everything.
But it should slow both teams down as well because Juice didn't have a clean fight there. It went very clean until Crey turned up and actually put a nice beat down on with that Xbalanque.
Oh, yeah.
That really swung things back around again. But Dust surviving, still unkilled.
Coming down the mid lane is Juice, led by Giliar, the support. Transonics as well, right up in front. The duo lane leading the charge for Juice here. Transonics always ready and willing to be the first one in the fight.
And the right call from Juice to try and go back to the Phoenix first of all, try and bring it down, weaken it again. Got to be careful though, because they can still fight underneath this Phoenix if they want to. There's a blink from Clow. Mistakes were made, Clow. Mistakes were made.
Clow immediately taken out by the hand of the Ram player. Underneath the ground is Freya. Juice Gaming is smartly avoiding the lurking in the waters, slow and damage. The mid Phoenix is about to fall. Lispy trying to make things happen before it does, but it can't. The Phoenix is down, Juice is up.
And Juice's silence coming out as well from Purified, going to zone Crey back as well. The Xbalanque still going aggressive as Juice Gaming. They realize though they win the fight. Let's swing away and look for potentially the tier 2 in right or the Fire Giant.
Tier 2. Subject right now, TeeVee first one in. Transonics is about half HP, but he needs to provide all of the damage he can to take down the structure. There's a couple of members of Release still here. Clow still 20 seconds till he's able to impact the battlefield in just yet. Fire Giant is spawned. Fire Giant is not aggressed on.
It's got to be contested. That's the key here for Release Gaming. They've got to come in and swing at this one. Crey's on his way with Freya in the front, assisting Foot round the side as well. They need to look for potentially MOR here. MOR and Rama are the big issues for them. The problem is it's to leave ISIS alone then, but they have to leave one of them.
With Transonics so low, it makes taking Fire Giant really haphazard. You probably want your hunter to tank the Fire Giant. You can avoid the large hit from the long line attack that the Fire Giant gives, but you can't avoid the sort of basic attack boulders that he throws, and because of how low Transonics was, we weren't able to really find a correct tank, and just a couple of members of Release was able to deter Juice from really aggressing onto that particular objective.
I think Golf here, though, will be the call from the boys of Juice Gaming here. You may be able to actually see Transonics swing round for that one as well now after taking those left-hand Harpies. Nope. All going to go back to base. So this is the final call from Juice Gaming. This is a push call. It's like, right, guys, final item purchases. You can see we're all pretty much full build right now.
Transonics has purchased a red pot.
But Release Gaming, they realized that was the call from Juice, and now look where they are. They're trying to rush the Fire Giant down. Only Puri is here to defend right now. The rest of Juice is on the way. The new ult. Well, now they've been spotted by the ult. Release, give it up.
Yeah, Release smart enough to understand that they can't take the fight. They can just try and steal the objective.
I mean, they could have taken the fight if they wanted to. They could have tried to around the Fire Giant if they wanted.
You're barking down a full build Juice Gaming team.
Well, you're barking down a full TeeVee feather step combo coming out as the Spirit Ball connects onto Lispy. Lispy's tremors do work, but beats down. Meanwhile, Circle of Protection is down. I go boom, says the Circle of Protection. And now Lispy has to use his ult defensively. Transonics going very, very deep, gets disarmed.
Transonics now has his basics back and available. Mid Phoenix already down. Right side tower has been taken out the last time Juice made this march.
This is just smart from Juice. They don't need Fire Giant. They can just use Clay minions, backdoor the Phoenix with them. Protections are down. Lispy back on the front line again. Round the side, Cloud comes in with the blink, gets a big ultimate off onto multiple people, sucking them all in deep, but still Transonics gets to the sky.
Transonics up in the air looking for the shots. Crey
Definitely
uses
lands.
Aegis to avoid most of the damage, and as soon as Transonics comes down, he's pushed into the
We're
ground.
back in the game here. This is
Crey,
a Fire Giant
with credit.
potential for Release Gaming right now. They've got to run them down, though. Run them down like dogs and try and put the pressure on. Lispy round the side looking for Purified. Purified doesn't realize it. He will now.
Fire minions pouring into the enemy base on the side of Release. Tighten down underneath 90%. Members of Release very low as well. Lispy going to be taken out by the fire shards. Dust is
Fury's
unstoppable.
alive.
7 kills without a death just yet.
Dust is
Purified
dead now.
drops down the
They
ult.
jinxed him.
Freya picks up Dust. There he is. There's the shutdown. Release looking for more. Gili slowed, basically standing still.
But look at this, reinforcements have arrived once again. TeeVee is back in the fight. Gili gets flipped into trouble, but TeeVee was already there. They do survive for now. I would have liked to try and find the picks of the Fire Giant, but they don't manage to make it.
Not able to really make it happen. Clow half HP, Crey half HP, Freya half HP. Release forced back to their own base.
So that all started because of the engagement. Transonics went to the sky with his ultimate. When Transonics went up there on Rama, it set himself up for death. His teammates were pushed out away from him. He got isolated, turned into a 4v5. Juice had to back up then, and immediately Release had a bit of a warpath moment. They're going to hold the Phoenix again in mid lane. The game's going to continue.
Release here. They've got a foothold.
They've got
They've got something. They've got something to start a climb, Hindu. I mean, before Juice looked like they owned this game and everything related to it.
The scary thing is one misplay at this stage of the game can throw the game and end it completely. Transonics misplayed a little bit then with the ultimate. I feel like he thought he was in danger, thought he could get the snipe off. Didn't find it. Instead, he falls down, swings the fight completely. 2 members of either team go down here. The game could be pretty much over and won by either team. Respawns are just that long at this stage of a game.
Look at the amount of damage Dust has right now. 36,000 damage on this new WoW. The first death came at minute 36. Incredible performance out of Juice's solo laner today.
Yeah, it's been it's not been the quickest of games, this one, but you can still see it's going on, and Release Gaming don't want to give this one up either, and they're playing to the best of their ability as well to hold into this game. The problem is that full item builds on both teams are starting to be reached now, and that's where we're going to see a different sort of scenario of this game potentially develop.
And so where are we going to really find that?
Well, the problem is that we're starting to see the tanky items being finally finished off by the whole of Release Gaming. The Guardians and the Warrior going to be a lot harder to bring down and burst down quickly. Yes, they've got the Isis here, but that's why you see the Chins online from TeeVee here. He recognizes this as a potential problem. When you look across the way, you can also see an Assy picked up, not just for the extra lifesteal if you get low from Transonics, but the extra penetration, which is important.
Gili flipped into some problems, but just a silence. No real damage going the way of Geb. Juice able to really recollect themselves and find themselves on the right side of the map. Fire Giant still alive. There's a blink in from Lispy on the left side of your screen. Trouble for the Hunter, but Transonics finds his way out. Feather step onto his sailing foot. That's going to stop him for a moment, but just a moment. This time Transonics up in the air. It's up to Release to really respond correctly. Cloud drops the ultimate. Cloud drops into the ground. Dust
still alive.
Credit for that. Transonics still alive. Scratch that. Freya picks him up. Lispy picks
Release
up Fury. This is going Release's way. This could be problem for Juice, but TeeVee, he's going to pull Shing out of nowhere and get the kill. But now he's surrounded. It's 2v1.
The shield was good, but is it good enough? No, Freya lives. Knock up, not good enough to kill him down. Now Gili's going to roll away, but he's so slow right now. Luckily, the burst of speed will come
Gili's the only one up for Juice Gaming. Everyone is dead for about 45 seconds or more. Release can't win off of this just yet, Hindu, but Release can make a huge dent.
Don't know about huge then. The teleport comes in straight away. Crey, he should head over to the Fire Giant right about now because his teammate's already starting it up. He's going to go back to base. What is that call from Crey? Why are you not the Fire Giant, Sunshine?
No, he's going.
Should have been there already.
Crey's going. Assisting Foot starting it. Crey's
so
here.
Up to Gili to defend against
Gili's making his way here. Keep in mind, it's a different world.
He's
the
got his
Geb
ultimate.
doesn't have really that much
He's
threat.
got his ultimate. If you can time it right, I've seen it done before.
It's a big if.
But they
It's a
both get hit
big
by
if.
knockups as well. They've got to juke those and channel them better. Make sure they tank it up. It should be free,
Nah,
though.
that's it.
Release Gaming get the first Fire Giant of the game.
Release Gaming with the Fire Giant, still trailing by 10,000 gold, but that Fire Giant going to be a fantastic look to start turning things around, make 10,000 into 9,000, and Release chipping away at what seemed impenetrable of a Juice lead.
If Release Gaming win this game net from here after, Juice will go on full tilt next game. I can already predict it because this is a painful game to lose after the performance that you had. The scoreline was amazingly different a few moments ago. Can we check in with the graphs? You can still see there's a 9,000 gold difference.
Yep.
But Release Gaming are the ones that are technically the ones in control of this game now for a moment here as they're starting to win the fights. Big key is Transonics has got to sit on the backside. He's gone too deep a couple of times and he's been picked. And they've chased him and run him down while Clow zoned out the rest of the team and kept them busy.
We're getting to the point as well, Hindu, where gold starts to matter less and less. You take a look at Xbalanque on the side of Release. He's already full build. There's nothing more that gold can do outside of hand him potions. Same thing goes for Bellona. He's full build. There's nothing more that gold can give him
Always look at
outside of
supports.
potions.
Always look at supports to see how full builds are going. That's my big one. Because if the support's nearly at full build, you know it's late game.
Of course, yeah.
It's the dream. If you can get full build as a support, you're like, oh, what's this?
Release with that Fire Giant able to really take down all of the towers that they feel like. Dueling
and this
the
is respect
subject
from
right
Juice
now.
Gaming here. They realize they can't fight a Fire Giant team at this stage of the game. They have to respect this and back up. Defending a Phoenix is a different story. You must do that. They may even give one up, but they won't give the game away. That's what they're all after here, because one wipe and it's over. You saw the response last time. Do it again, it's game.
So exactly. Last time around when these players died, Release was...
Oh, Lispy nearly caught him there on that callback. That would have been a problem.
If that same situation, Hindu, happens right now, Release win.
Yeah, for sure.
The difference was just...
Funny thing is, if it happens in Juice's favor, Juice wins too, because they can push down mid. So anyone's game. Anyone's game. The advantage, though, Release with the Fire Giant. The problem is I think they're too scared to go for the Phoenixes, and they're going to back away. That's the big problem I see for them. They're going to strip the jungle instead, which I don't think they really need to worry about doing. They could have potentially looked for a Phoenix fight, but it looks like they didn't want to do that at all.
We're almost 45 minutes into this into this contest, folks. Level 20 across the board. As we just mentioned, almost everybody full build, so gold mattering less and less. But even with that in mind, Release have shortened up what was previously at the height of it, I believe, 13,000 gold lead. Now, Release just trail by 3,700.
No point in stats anymore, boys and girls. They don't mean anything in terms of golden experience anyway. But when you look at the itemization builds from the Juice boys, I do love the Gem of Isolations from both mages. Not for the slows that they provide, but for the extra tankiness that they'll actually give as well. It does give a lot of health for Gem of Isolation.
I've always been a
fan.
fan.
One across the way for Cabrakan as well. I think it's wise, get as much health as you can, because you're going to be in these fights for a long period of time.
I've always been a fan of the Gem of Isolation on the new WoW as a 6th, 5th item, because of what this really allows the character to do. What it allows to do is your fire charge is going to hit everyone. So everyone gets slowed. Very important. Soul Reaver only hits a single player, but it's going to be coupled with the burst of the Obsidian Shard.
And the thing about Soul Reaver, if it hits the whole team, it'll hit the highest HP target.
Exactly.
But if it's one person that it hits from the fog or from a shining metal, then that person's pretty much deleted. Same with an Isis. The funny thing about an Isis in the mid lane is that one Spirit Ball Circle of Protection will kill an AD carry outright. Spirit Ball, Circle of Protection, deleted. They find the Xbalanque with that, it could swing a game completely. Meanwhile, on the other side, though, you've got that Cabrakan. If Cabrakan blinks 1-2s, you can say goodnight, sweet prince. The game is over, for you, at least.
Oh, yeah. Cabrakan's burst ability is, well,
he's got the Soul Reaver online as well, so it's like...
He's got the Soul Reaver online. No Polynomicon, instead going for a defensive
That was
item.
a big Blink Gili play there. Blink now on cooldown for another 70 seconds. A little bit longer than it used to be. And that should make an impact around this actual Fire Giant there. But the best news is Fire Giant's got another 30 seconds, so not too impactful just yet. I don't know what he was thinking there. It was a little bit too risky.
Just looking to make something happen, really, Hindu.
Could have made the game end, not in his favor, happen.
That's true.
So both teams trying to catch each other unaware and out of position for the most part now. As you can see, Juice Gaming and Release Gaming both realize All 3 Phoenixes are up. We're down to no towers. No buffs on the map right now, apart from the red on the left-hand side. And it's all about ward wars right now.
I mean, there are wards next to wards from the same team here. I mean, right here at this entrance to the fire zone, there's 2 from the same team. Release have 2 sentry wards right next to each other. This is, I mean, it just shows this is all there is to buy.
It's double vision as well, though, because wards are a little bit limited on vision these days. So you by putting 2 there, they can actually cross the paths a little bit more and spread it out to make sure there's no sneaky ones just around the corner. They don't get picked too hard. But I like what Juice did. There's a ward right in those harpy pit just to make sure they've got vision of that. And it's stopping them from being able to be seen from a sentry. So both teams, generally what you'll see at this point is they'll both stand around their sentry wards knowing that the enemy team can't see them without being in pickable range.
Yeah. Freya gets knocked up, but no real follow-up. Clow for the left.
The big key for Transonics and Crey, the big key, they can't get caught. If one of those 2 go down, it's over. Look at what just happened to his face.
Lispy looking for Transonics. Strong shield is going to prevent that kill. Transonics off the back end. And
that's what I was talking
disengage.
about. You immediately saw what Cabrakan tried to do. Eliminate Transonics. He was a little bit too far forward.
Oh, yeah.
If he hit the full burst, which he didn't, it would have been over.
There's the Darkest of Nights, Clow aggressing onto Puri.
Puri's
stuck in the Cabrakan ult, nowhere to go. Assisting Foot takes out the middle laner.
Crey?
TeeVee in some trouble, Crey taking him out. Dust, he's being forced out. Crey, is he going to give up the chase and turn around for the objective?
This
No.
looks like
Crey
game.
is still there,
This
does get
looks
stunned
like
out.
game. Release game, and they're going to take this game here, Ref. They're going to at least get a Phoenix off this. There's only 3 members here to defend. Unless a big mistake happens here, I don't see it happening. Release should take a Phoenix. They could potentially look to win. They're tanky enough too.
That's a strong play. Lispy down to half. Phoenix being aggressed on by Release Gaming. Dust, Gili, Transonics here to try to provide some defense. Unable to as Release take out the right side Phoenix. They'll head back into the jungle.
Respawn, still another 30 seconds. They can still go for the Fire Giant here.
Yep.
And that means that Juice has to try and defend against it as well. Fire Shards is available, but they have to go in and try and do something. The problem is they don't have vision. They have no wards. And so they can't walk up here without being potentially picked. Now that they've seen the Fire Giant, they've got to make a commitment.
Freya here to provide some sort of resistance. Fire Giant already down to 40. Dust in the air. 25 on the fire. No way that Juice can make it. Fire Giant falls down to Release. Previously, this game had Juice name all over it. It's looking very different here, Hindu.
So what we saw there was Transonics ended up getting caught potentially for a second by Lispy, had to beads, and then backflip away and got shielded by Gili. He then backs very, very deep because he was at about 50% HP by that point. So goes back to sustain in the jungle and heal off the creeps. Meanwhile, the other members form a sort of semicircle to protect around the outside between the speed buff and the blue buff. The problem was that Purified took a little step too far forward and got pinned into a world of hurt. They collapsed on him completely, and then TeeVee had to jump out too and still got hit by Crey. After that, it was just running down, taking a Phoenix and a Fire Gen on top. Release gaming at 49 minutes in.
Wow.
We said they had a foothold in the game about 10, 15 minutes ago. They've got more than a foot now. They've got an arm and a leg.
Exactly. It's just step by step that Release has really been able to fight their way back into this one. And now with Fire Giant around their waists, Release looking to be aggressive one more time. Coming down the mid lane, greeted by minions. Let's be able to clear him out, no problem.
This Phoenix fight is the key. This is the key. Juice have one last stand and it's here. They can hold this. They can turn this around. Release Gaming have shown them the way by doing it themselves. But this time, it's on the other foot.
So it's 4 in the mid lane, and Bellona will be pushing up the left lane as well. That's why Release is biding their time right now. They want to have Bellona even with them in the lanes before they push. Release will likely push with 4 into here, but they want to make sure that Bellona is even with them in the left lane so that when they push into the mid, Bellona will be able to pick up the left Phoenix should they not get what they want. TeeVee notices, and he's going to shade over.
Which means it's going to be a 4v4 scenario, but a Fire Giant team is a different beast. Blink from Shing was not the greatest, and this could be a good fight for Juice, potentially. They may have to hold off on this now. Left side, what's going on?
Yeah, Lispy unable to really make it happen. Assisting. Not going to do much of anything either. Clow gets pulled, but he's beads. Smart beads out of Clow. He doesn't get pulled the whole way. Freya, on the other hand, taking a lot of damage from Transonics, Phoenix, and Dust, but still finds a way out of it.
The
Strong defense pushes Release off of their fire.
But blinking from Clow, he was looking for the pick on Transonics, doesn't find it. Instead, he finds Dust, who beads away. Now, you can see Bellona's rotated in as well to support. They still want this Phoenix in the mid lane. The right one is still down. The Titan is being beaten on by the fire minions pouring down the right-hand side. If Release can keep pushing this and keeping them busy, the Titan will keep getting lower and lower.
We saw that happen to Release before. Their Titan was getting lower by minions. It didn't seem to work out. So this time, they're going to try and do things themselves. Transonics.
Oh, the best turnaround
for a while. Purified pops the ult. That heals up a little bit. Long range stun. It's on Lispy. Just not enough.
They're still chasing on. Gili here with a cataclysm onto Clow, who
Clow in
decides
trouble.
to pull back in. Clow falls down. Spirit Ball does not connect though onto Freya, who charge prays away. The Phoenix in mid falls down. The fire minions in right mean that Juice cannot continue to chase.
Juice get what they could. Unfortunately for them, unable to defend their middle Phoenix. Right, Phoenix does respawn.
Game's going to keep going. You can see Purified and Transonics going to push down right now, clear out the last fire minion wave. Left-hand side has been pushed out a little bit there by Juice Gaming, and TeeVee's just going to hold up the mid lane once again at 52 minutes in. We won't see this again until the next Fire Giant spawns, more than likely.
Yeah, most likely not. Team's going to wait a little bit. Everybody full build now. Not just the guys on Juice, but everybody full build. 25 to 15 read the kills. But you can throw all the numbers away, folks. It is a tie game through and through. The slightest misplay can spell the game. Whatever team wins the next fight generally will win the game. And Hindu, everybody seems to be on even footing now.
We've been saying that about like whoever wins the next fight wins, but like these game fights have gone backwards and forwards, but neither of them have closed.
But we
the
haven't
deal.
seen the full fight. That's
There's
what's
been no deal
that's what
closed.
it's been.
That's the big thing. At the moment, though, Juice Gaming with a Phoenix being down in the middle lane and the Titan at half health. Release Gaming, they don't even have to do the Fire Giant here. They could potentially just force mid if Juice looked for it.
Lispy in some trouble, blinks away. 4 members of Juice almost there, able to really spell disaster for Lispy, but he finds a way out.
Just such a nervous time for both these teams. At a 1-1 scoreline as well, this would be a different case if it was 2-1. Because one team would be like, all right, guys, don't worry, you know, they'll be the comfortable team if you were 2-1. But at 1-1, a team that loses this, a 50, 60-minute game that goes on, it's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. You've all had them yourselves in your casual games. You may have had them in your ranked games. You may have even had them in your assault games, right? But when you lose them, it's devastating. Do that in a 1-1 for a World Championship possible spot at the Xbox Invitational, then go in again and have to start from level 1? No, sir.
That'll do it. That'll definitely do it. Dust provides vision for Juice. Juice understands that the team is on Fire Giant. Release, in turn, fall back.
2 ults. 2 ults for 1. Dust ult is used, but 2 were used by them. Freya in a little bit of trouble here. Gili may be looking for him. Instead, switches attention towards Bellona, who just backs away. And a wise call from Release Gaming. They just back up, and then as soon as they realize from the ward placement that they've got there by the Fire Giant is started up, they're back to siege again.
Here comes Release.
Oh, Puri, half health, but the circle of protection will buy him a moment to heal back up once more. Clow, very, very low. Clow, womboed by CC.
Lispy low
Clow
at the back.
is trying to find the kill on Purified. He will fall down to assisting foot, but the foot needs a leg to support here. Luckily, Crey's there to pick up TeeVee, and maybe Juice have to back off again.
Maybe. They absolutely have to. It's a 4v3 right now. Advantage to Release. Freya coming in the front. Assisting foot, really able to do a lot. Dust, toss to the backside. Gili trying to provide whatever triage he can.
Titan's dying. The Titan's
Wingy
dying.
is on the Titan
The
right
Titan's
now.
dying.
Juice have to defend.
They're rushing back to base as quick as they can. You can always see Transonics did get back to defend. Dust has been left alone in the mid lane. He will fall down to Freya. Release Gaming. It looks like they can march down mid lane now. It's only Gili and Transonics and a Titan on the barest of health.
Yeah, Release have 4 members here. There's not a lot of HP by way of the Titan. This was Juice's game for the majority of it, but at the tail end, Release turn it around. Are they able to provide enough defense to save their Titan? That's what Juice is trying to do. No! Release get the game through and through. It was a marathon, but game number
Absolute
3
marathon.
goes the way of Release.
It goes the way of Release, and that's going to be heartbreaking to Juice Gaming there. Like you said, they were in large stages of that game. They controlled it throughout the whole of the game. Then towards the end, they couldn't close the deal. Release held them up. They stalled them out enough. They didn't find... The big key was they didn't go for the Fire Giant. They managed to go for the Phoenix in the right, and that's where it swung round completely, and Release found a way back in.
It was just about finding that way. We saw them get the foot early on and then able to climb up that mountain of a lead that Juice has provided. The series now led by Release 2-1. We'll be back in 5.